There's some problem. I don't know. I don't see. I don't cannot listen him. Looks like we are. It's just started, and we see both players going for the mushroom first level. So I suppose both are using safer big Mario strats right off the bat, which is an overall story. So we have TKJ here.
Yes, okay, sorry, my mic had a bit of an issue. I was just saying how the Japanese runners are definitely known for their consistency during races.
Yeah, definitely. And we already. The funny thing is that almost every Japanese player here in this tournament is on the same region of the bracket, so we are gonna see a lot of Japanese derby, and this is just the first one, but we're gonna see many more during this race, just because of how the bracket is shaped.
Yeah.
So
Alright,
coming up, go ahead.
Both runners are pairing to go for the 1-1 and 1-2 power-up grabs. Definitely a safer strat compared to the 1-3 and 1-4 grabs.
Unfortunately, Mammaru lost the Fire Flower to that sneaky Goomba, and this strat is safer, but it's not actually that much easier than the fast strat with small Mario. Particularly that Goomba, if you're not fast enough doing the duck jump at the low ceiling, that Goomba can definitely be on your way, and it's not as so rare seeing players taking a hit there. And that's what happened to Mammaru, unfortunately for him. But he can recover power-ups, no problems here in 1-3 and 1-4 by doing the so-called optimal strat. Not gonna be a big deal for him.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate for him there.
So coming up next, 1-4 for Kaku. This level will be nice and easy because he doesn't need to take that power-up as Mammaru has to. When it gets also the power-up clip, which is very nice. He decided not to challenge the fireballs. Decide to play safe. Usually when you take the power-up so quickly, the fireballs are well aligned, but I assume that he decided to play safe and not to take any unnecessary risk.
Yeah, when you if you spend too much time picking up the power up in 1-4, then the firebar pattern's gonna get all messed up and it forces you to wait.
Coming up next, 2-1. This level is it's not that hard, but for sure he has a couple of tricky jumps. Oh, Kaku having some troubles here at the spring, but he just lost a couple of frames, not too much. But definitely this is the chance for Mammaru to close the gap a little bit. So despite the Mammaru lost the power up in 1-2, they're still pretty close. So thus far is a pretty good race. Both players are just there. Kaku has probably a couple of seconds lead, not much more. So coming up next, 2-2. And 2-2 is known for the bottleneck, which is the section Kaku is playing right now. And bottleneck because there's this low ceiling paired up with a high floor and a lot of enemies in your way. So
yeah, it seems like
you just cannot go fast. You have to slow down or take a huge risk to. Sorry, go ahead.
Seems like Mammaru had a little bit more time to spend there.
Yeah, even Kaku needed to slow down because he got actually a pretty bad pattern. There were so many cheap cheats and the blopper was still there. That was pretty unfortunate. So usually you don't get so many enemies here at the bottleneck.
Yeah, in a race situation like this, it's probably not worth it to potentially not get your fireballs out quick enough.
No. They both play wisely, and I mean water levels a couple of frames lost here in water level. Still preserving the power up, it's definitely better. So
yeah.
This fish for Mammaru was a bit tricky, but it got it pretty alright. So no troubles for both players here in 2-3. And coming up next, the second castle, 2-4. It's a pretty straightforward castle. There's only a jump that's a bit tricky at the elevator.
I'm curious to see if. Sorry, you can go.
Oh yeah, you were saying that actually Japanese players are actually known for not taking to play safe this elevator jump, and actually I don't blame him because it's a deceptively hard jump. I mean, sometimes you can just get caught off guard because you press down maybe a frame too late and you just die. So I don't blame Kaku for playing that safe.
Yeah, absolutely not too big of a time loss, especially with the lead he's already holding.
So yeah, this race is actually meeting our expectations. Players with very close PB are actually very close right now. So Kaku is just slightly ahead of Mammaru. Mammaru is probably 3 or 4 seconds, even less behind. So this is
Yeah.
still a very good race.
He's gonna save a couple of frame rules over Kaku there with a better ending.
And coming up 3-2, this is a kind of a breather. There's nothing really nothing happening here in 3-2. But this game, it can be sometimes very sneaky. In levels like this, it's important to keep focused and not to get your guard off. Just thinking, okay, this is an easy level, I can relax. This is not true, because even a small mistake, these jumps are actually pretty easy. Okay, Mammaru decided to go for a slightly harder setup here with 3 Goombas, so the jump becomes a little tighter. So even in easy level like this, you have to be absolutely careful, and even a small mistake, you lose the power up, you're in a lot of troubles in the next level, especially coming up into the next castle.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, in this next castle, I'm interested to see if they're gonna challenge the Podoboo.
Yes, if you do a full jump from the very last pixel of the sailing, you can always jump over the Podoboo, but it's very risky, it's very hard. What players decide to go for a safe strat by slowing down a little bit.
Yeah.
Kaku decide to respect the Podobos and the firebars there. See, Mammaru decides to do exactly the same.
Ooh. Oh, that was close from Amari with
Yeah.
that Podoboo.
Yeah, decided to, not to slow down too much, and he lost a lot of momentum in the middle of that jump, and unfortunately for him, he still retained enough to make it on the other side. But you have to be very careful, because sometimes you decide to play safe and differently from what you are actually used to, and you can find out to yourself in these weird situations where you miscomplete the jumps and you just die, and it can happen. So
Yeah, especially in practice, if you aren't used to doing race strats, or in runs even, it can trip you up a lot if you don't have the momentum you're used to.
exactly. For Ashwan, no problem for both players. And now I think that Kaku is just 3 or 4 frames ahead of Mammaru. Maybe something more, but still very close race.
Yeah, only a couple of seconds apart at this point. It's pretty telling about their consistency.
So Kaku is for the top the top route team,
Mammaru.
whereas Mammaru for the bottom. A little bit of bonking here and there. It's gonna cost him a little bit of time. The bottom route is actually cooler, but it's slightly harder than the top route. There's actually, at the very beginning, you have to kill those 2 piranha plants very quickly by tapping B very quickly, and if you don't do it, you risk actually taking damage from the second piranha plant. Also a couple of very low jumps here and there. The bottom route is pretty technical and pretty hard. That's why many people decide to go for the top route. It actually is slightly slower, but not slower enough to make you lose frames. So that's why the top route is definitely more popular among runners than the bottom.
Yeah, there are definitely some favorites to do bottom route in this tournament.
Mammaru actually think that got what is called the sky boot. Sky boot consists in actually saving a couple of frames at the flagpole by landing on a very specific pixel at the flagpole, in such a way that Mario takes a couple of frames less to do the victory animation. And in 4-3, actually, those frames that you save are enough to make you save a frame, so it's totally worth it. Kaku at the 4-4 Bowser takes it down, no problem. So Kaku survived the tricky 4-4 Bowser.
Oh.
Ooh, okay,
Alright.
nice job, Mammaru. Nice reaction, by the way, because I think that Mammaru read the backward pattern. Bowser, instead of jumping backward, the second time he jumped forward.
Yes.
So it was actually going against him, but he reacts just in time to dodge him, slowing down a little bit, take distances, and actually shoot the last hit. Very nice job from Mammaru. those kind of plays are actually the plays that makes you win races. Because usually in that situation, you just simply lose the power-up and
Ooh.
lose a lot of time. And instead, at cost of maybe a couple of seconds, Mammaru still has the power-up. So that's a very strong play. And this is how we actually win tournament. With plays like this. I just do a little bit of bonking for Kaku here and there. He also got the sneaky bullet bill at the beginning, which Mammaru did not, so Mammaru can definitely close up a little bit the gap here.
Ooh. Mammaru with very, very nice bro patterns there. I don't know if he was taking a lucky guess there or if he reacted quickly. But either way, nice.
I didn't see it, so I cannot tell you. So Mammaru with a 347, Kaku with a 344. So here Mammaru saved up a little bit of time. Ooh, that's a very bad little bit pattern for Kaku. If I dash 3 is the exact same level as 1-3, would it be that shoots at random hate?
Oh.
And
yeah, so
yeah.
we saw Kaku do a buffer jump at the beginning of the level. I believe that's just to change up the bullet bill patterns, make it a little more consistent, I guess.
I don't think it actually worked out because Kaku got probably the worst possible pattern you can get here in this level when the Goomba you have to stomp to make the Duffel not despawn, and immediately after the bullet bill. That's actually the worst thing that can happen here in that level, and props to him for not dying because most of people with that pattern just fall down and die. Instead, Kaku managed to survive.
Yeah, these Bowser levels are really killing the players.
Yes. Kaku with a super safe 5-4. I cannot blame him. 5-4 is a pretty hard level with a lot of tricky jumps in those polo boosts. You can challenge them, but you have to do some pretty tight duck jumps, and sometimes they simply just jump too low and you take a hit. So yeah, Kaku is just playing his game. He's famous for approaching levels at very safe strats, and they usually works out. But Mammaru is very close to him, so
yeah, this race is still very, very close. A simple power-up loss from Kaku could, cause the turn of the race at this point.
Yeah, definitely. I would like to, whereas the player here in 6-2, which is, I mean, 5 flower is an okay level, so unless something very bad happens to both players, we should be fine. I would like to remember that Kaku actually, speaking of close races, I don't know if you remember last year in the Round of Fate, actually, Kaku beat Goofy Chocobo.
Yeah, I remember.
By like a couple of frames, and I remember that Rupert need to retime that in order to see who actually won.
I did hear about that.
And actually, in the last tournament that we had on another channel, me and Kaku played, and we finished super close. And instead of retiming, we decided to just give it the tie. So Kaku is pretty used to very, very close finishes. So
yeah, nice bill dodge from Kaku there. Hit the duck under the bill right there. Mammaru choosing to go up top to avoid that situation at all.
And nice 254 for Mammaru. I think he got the very last frame possible for avoiding fireworks. So good job. The Royal strats for Kaku here in 6-4. By slowing down here in between those two Podo boosts, you can actually manipulate the fireballs pattern in order to have them always well aligned and not.
Both players making easy work out of those firebars.
Oh no,
Oh,
that was a really, really unfortunate pattern because Mammaru got for the very quick kills. But I don't think I ever seen anything like that happens because Mammaru just decided to play it safe. So by bonking against the lift and taking down Bowser from that. But Bowser did a very, very weird.
Oh no!
I think that probably Bowser simply jumped forward. So actually that's why I actually got caught off guard. I'm very, very unfortunate for Mammaru.
Yeah. Oh. Getting 2 sets of bottom bros, but dealing with it the best he can. Oh, he's gonna skip out on this mushroom.
Okay, for a moment I thought Mammaru was about to do the bullet bit glitch here in 7-1. Okay, but okay.
That would be a sight to see during the tournament.
Yeah, but Mammaru is still alive. This side, he decided after losing the mushroom in the middle of 7-1, he actually won the, oh my god, Kaku with this very, very crowded water levels. And then Mammaru decides to probably to go all small from here to the very end. Because actually that mushroom that he decided to skip is not hard to take. Can actually be taken quickly. So I have to assume that Mammaru just decided to go all in and doing all only.
Yeah, I wonder if he's gonna try to play out the rest of this run small only.
Yeah, that's actually what I'm...
It can definitely be easier at some points to not have to duck jump.
Yeah, definitely. But coming up, there are some pretty nasty levels, and having the mushroom can definitely be handful. And also, Mammaru is gonna lose time at 7-4 because he will not be able to kill Bowser, so he will have to watch the entire bridge collapsing scene, plus losing a little bit of time.
Yeah. Still only... Still only about a level apart here. This race could still change very quickly depending on what happens on Kaku's side.
Yeah, definitely. But
yeah, he's choosing to go small only for at least the rest of World 7.
Yes.
Maybe he'll pick up a power up in 8-2. That's a possibility.
Yeah, that's probably the strat Mammaru decides to go for.
Yeah, he most likely does not want to risk getting hit by the hammers in 8-3.
I don't know, but he's probably, if Mammaru sees actually the restream and knows that Kaku is so ahead, probably decide to go all in and not to simply risk it. Because at this point, if Mammaru knows that he thinks he is behind, he will probably play. I mean, he will try to go all in and risk it until the very end. He has nothing to lose at this point. So, in the meantime, we like to underline how good World 7 was for Kaku. He played perfectly.
Yeah.
Very, very pristine World 7.
Unfortunately, Mammaru's looping the maze one time around in 7-4.
Oh, yeah. And that probably could cost him definitely the game. A good pattern at least here for with Bowser. Yeah, probably in the maze levels, you have to... If you actually get pushed forward, your exposition changes and you get pushed too much on the right. The checkpoints that detects you whether you actually got the correct branching path doesn't work. And so that's actually what happened to Mammaru. Despite he took the right pattern, he got looped back as it chose the wrong one. So that's very unfortunate. Mammaru is still there too.
Yeah.
I would like to remember that. Sorry, I would like to remember that there are no checkpoints in these levels.
Yeah, definitely. In World 8, there are no checkpoints at all. So if you get a death in the level, you're going right back to the beginning. It can definitely be very costly.
Knowing Kaku here will play Super Saiyan. Yeah,
really nice.
Decide to go for the Xerox Win strat here, where you can manipulate the pattern of this last Kuma by doing a couple of very specific moves.
The BBBB.
Yeah, exactly. I should actually learn it because it looks like pretty handful.
Yeah, we saw a really nice safety 8-1 from Mammaru, 197.
Yeah, and Mammaru decides to go all in, no power-ups. It is what it is. At this point, he knows he's behind. He has to play risky at this point.
Yeah.
So I don't blame him.
At this point, I would say he's probably just hoping for some kind of pretty drastic mistake from Kaku, but
yeah.
As we've seen, he's a pretty consistent player. That's not likely to happen at this point.
Yeah, definitely. And now Kaku is about to begin the final level of the run. He's almost in 8-4, and Mammaru can definitely see him at this moment. Kaku entering the final castle. He's just entering this way, in this very moment, and Kaku begins the final level. Mammaru is... Oh no,
oh.
That's game.
Unfortunate death right there from Mammaru.
Yeah, and that's probably game. There's nothing he could have done there. He decided to go... He took the middle pattern. Oh, nice wall jump for Kaku.
Yeah,
I think it was like... Was that a one frame?
No, that was the 2-frame setup.
Yeah, 2-frame, because he actually entered at 365. With a 1 frame, you can enter at 366. Correct. So, water stage for Kaku. About to finish with a pretty sick time, I would say.
Yeah, we're gonna see a 19-3x here about... Oh, very good thing he was not duck swimming right there, or else he could have gotten a really nasty soft lock. And we are finishing off.
Go, Kaku wins the race with the time of 19 minutes 35 seconds, and Kaku says, "Okay, I'm here, even this year, to to excite all of you and possibly reach once again the finals and the podium of this tournament. So GG to Kaku, but also GG to Mammaru, who is about to very close to finishing. The race was very close until 6-4, and Mammaru got very unlucky. We can definitely say that was a very unlucky. He probably, I would say, I don't know if to say if that was a mistake by Mammaru when not reading the forward Bowser, or I don't know.
I think
It's hard
that
to
what
say.
I think he was just going for the safe strat where you bump into the elevator, and unfortunately when you're going for that safe strat, you're so committed to it that you just end up going for it no matter what, even if Bowser jumps forward and you don't have enough time to react at that point.
Yeah. And in the meantime, Mammaru finished with a time of 20 minutes and 24 seconds. Still a pretty close race, and a very good run for Mammaru as
Absolutely. GG to both
GG,
players. Very good.
GG to both. And as expected, that this race was very close and very exciting, and do not get tricked by the time difference, almost minute difference, because this race was very close until actually for 2/3 at least. So until 6-4 happened for Mammaru, and unfortunately, probably the race simply finished at that point. So
Yeah.
GG's to both. Kaku proved once again to be a super strong player. Let's see. I don't think that usually Japanese players don't have interviews. But
Yeah, we'll go ahead and check real quick, I guess.
I don't know. Usually Japanese players don't feel confident enough to get interviewed here, but we'll see. Maybe they will join. So in the meantime, we actually checked if they are available for interview. Let's see what's gonna happen next for these two runners. Kaku, who actually won this race, is gonna face GTA Ace in the next round. And I would like to say, if you believe in coincidence or not, Kaku last year, after beating me in the round 2 he actually encountered the number 2 seeding even last year and won. So, you know, and the story is gonna repeats again, so we'll see. Definitely a very good race against two super strong players. So GTA, despite being second seed, actually didn't really get a super good bracket. He has a pretty tight path on his ahead of him. So
he has to face people like Cosmic later in the bracket. I'm gonna guess it can be a pretty tight race, especially with the top runners.
Yeah, GTA is in the middle of Japanese because he is gonna face Kaku. Then in the next round, if he wins, he will face one between ZZZ and LK, so another Japanese player. So it's in the middle of this Japanese creek here. Definitely not a good seed draw for him. Pretty unlucky for super strong players, despite being second in number 2 seeding. But GTA has the skill to get out from it.
Yeah, definitely hard to face off against such consistent players.
And instead for Mammaru, I think that for Mammaru we have the Elder Spark in the next round. So yeah, he will start back from the loser round 2. And it's not over for him. He proved to be a very strong player, so that he can definitely recover here in loser and still saying the looks like we have Mammaru.
Yeah, it looks like he does want to do an interview in here.
So if he could join the
he might be wanting to do it through the IRC chat, maybe. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Let me actually.
Yeah, he says he wants to do it in the IRC chat there.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, so with this race, we actually we have all the matches for the next round, and there are a couple of races that are actually pretty interesting. And it's very hard to pick one, and I don't know.
Alright, looks like we have a comment from Kaku here in the IRC chat. He says, the early stage was tense, but I think I was able to run as usual from the middle. So he feels as though he played consistent from around the midpoint of the run up until the end.
Yeah, definitely. Kaku also managed to survive pretty sticky situation. I remember 5-4, and 5-4 he didn't really have the best of the Bowser pattern, and still I mean it do it slowly, and yeah, looks like we are not gonna have here neither Kaku and Mamoru here in the voice
Right.
chat, so.
It appears that both of them have decided to make their comments in the IRC channel. So
Oh, okay, that's okay. So I think that in 5-4 actually Kaku in that moment surviving that level actually was that was the moment where actually Kaku won, because surviving that sticky part.
yeah, it definitely could have been either of the players' race at that point.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, as I was saying, looking at the round 3 matches, do you have a match that you are excited the most, a little bit more compared to others? I see a lot of very good races at this point.
Taking a look here at the bracket, I think that Cosmic. Wait, did that race already happen? No, it didn't. So Cosmic versus Lolex D, more commonly known in the community as Alden Speedruns. I think that's going to be a very interesting race because we have Cosmic, who's the current world record holder. He's very, very good at race strats. He's very good at PB strats. All around a pretty consistent player. But we have somebody like Lolex D, who is definitely one of the more grindy players in this community. He's always practicing all the time, so it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, and he grew a lot and improved so much ever since last tournament, so it's definitely gonna be a threat. Instead, I would like to go with probably Rupert versus Xerox Fin, and this match is gonna be. I think this match is gonna be insane.
Oh,
One of
that's
the two best racers players around.
Definitely.
I cannot wait for that. But I mean, I think all these races are super good against very prepared players, and they're actually very difficult to make any prediction at this point. Everything really happens.
Here in the IRC channel, Mammaru is saying that he was upset to lose because he was having a really good time during the race.
Yeah, like we said, he got very unlucky with that 6-4, and from there, when you enter 7-1 with small Mario, at that point, it's very hard to recover from that. For board 7, a small especially 7-1 is very punishing. The Hammer brothers can be a threat.
And especially after making so many mistakes like that are hard to control, such as the Bowser patterns or just unfortunate power-up losses, it can just really mess with your mentality, which is a huge thing in races.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that we are approaching the end of this race. We don't have currently. I don't see any scheduled run right now. But maybe it's looking.
Yeah, we were having a couple issues with the speed gaming schedule earlier.
So, but yeah, for the next week, round 3 is gonna kick in. So we're gonna have a lot of good races. And also, there's the loser bracket. So stay tuned with us with a lot of Mario coming up next.
Yeah, looks like the next race is tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes, but we don't. I don't see again. I don't see.
Yeah,
the
we
two
can't.
runners,
We can't know who they are. Unfortunately, we don't know who the runners are.
There's gonna be a race tomorrow, but I cannot tell you who is gonna actually take part in the race. So I mean, let's check periodically the speed gaming schedule to have more information about that. So that being said, I think that's time to wrap up the stream. So like always, thanks to Kaku and Mammaru for the race. GG both of him, and good luck for the rest of your tournament. Thanks to TKJ for joining the commentary with me.
Thank you.
And thanks to all the Twitch chat and all the viewers that actually follow the race and cheer up with the both runners. It's always very pleasure to have such a nice environment with everyone cheering everyone else, and such good and healthy. I mean,
this community is really great.
Yes, and of course, thanks to the admins of the tournament. Also, thanks for Speed for hosting us, and looking forward to the next race. And see you next time. Bye bye.
See you guys.